What you see behind me is the Black Sea. And the Black Sea is a very important sea. It joins Eastern Europe with the rest of Europe, also to Turkey. So most of the ships and the containers that come here get on a ship from here and they go across the Black Sea to what they call the Strait of Bosphorus. A lot of the ships and containers go through here. Now this is part of what they've described as the middle corridor. The middle corridor is supposed to reduce time of goods coming from the east of the world and going towards the west of the world. It can bring down costs, it can bring down time and how much time it takes to ship goods. Now, not an easy one, it sounds all easy, but the challenge is that there are many countries in the way that do not align with the idea of shipping these goods fast. Some of them have very large bureaucracies, the train routes are not integrated, and so that poses a huge challenge. So Ian, would you introduce yourself? What do you do here and tell me about the port we're at?
Sure, so my name's Ian Rawlinson. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer here at APM Terminals in Poti in Georgia. We own and operate the port of Poti here, which is the biggest port in Georgia. In fact, the biggest port on the eastern end of the Black Sea. And we import and export pretty much everything that comes in and out of Georgia, certainly more or less everything that comes by sea. So that is containers, project cargo, bulk commodities, not just for Georgia, but for the region of the Southern Caucasus and Central Asia.
So one of the things which we are here to talk about is this middle corridor. You know, the advantages of the middle corridor. There are a lot of corridors in the north and in the south, different routes for cargo to move. Tell us one of the biggest advantages that the middle corridor has over all the other corridors that exist for moving of goods from the east to the west and then vice versa.
So a lot of people, when they think of the middle corridor, they think exclusively of the trade between China and the Far East through to Europe and beyond. Where the middle corridor has a real opportunity is that the markets of Central Asia and the Southern Caucasus are landlocked, and therefore the history of trade with these countries has been very low levels of containerization, and container shipping is of course by far the most efficient way of moving goods. Our analysis shows we can move about 5 times as much cargo by containers as we can in conventional means. So in terms of maximizing the utilization both of the port but also of the rail networks across the region, containerizing will be a massive advantage. And the Southern Corridor, which is the traditional all-water route through the Red Sea, is quite a long route between Asia and Central Asia. The Northern Corridor, obviously through Russia at the moment, is blocked because of the political situation with the war in Ukraine, which leaves the Middle Corridor with a unique opportunity to grow the trade between Central Asia and Europe and the rest of the world in both directions. And over and above that, the more southerly states of Central Asia, the likes of Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, the distances to cross up into Russia are just as great as they are to cross through the middle corridor. So we see great opportunity. There are a lot of challenges which still need to be addressed, and particularly across the land.
So just to put a reference of where we are at the edge of the Black Sea. Now, the Black Sea is from where a lot of the shipping containers go through. They go through all the way to the Bosphorus. Now, Bosphorus is straight right between the European side of Turkey, Istanbul, to the southern side of Istanbul, which is on the Turkey side of Istanbul, if I want to call it that. And so a lot of this traffic goes from here. Bosphorus in itself has got its huge challenges because it's a one-way strait. Only at one time ships can go through only one direction, and sometimes it's very windy. But at the same time, what's being biggest challenge stays between a lot of the shipping organizations is the central repository of a software. For example, the airline industry has the Sabre. but the shipping industry still doesn't have a centralized software which it can leverage. Now explain to me, we have such a large shipping industry in the world. Why can't the shipping community come together and have like a centralized system to be able to address this? Is it rocket science?
Not rocket science, no, but that is the million-dollar question. One of the challenges is that everybody recognizes the need for a unified system to communicate, a way of digitalizing information. Logistics is 50% cargo movement, 50% information movement. And without accurate and timely movement of information, then the movement of the cargo becomes massively challenged. The real challenge in terms of having a unified system for all players is there is no one single party that everybody trusts with their data who has said, let us be the standard for all actors. A lot of companies have tried to develop something, but they all have some skin in the game already, and so therefore immediately there's a lack of trust as to whether, if I give my data to you, are you then going to use that to talk to my customers? And until that can be addressed, we're going to continue to face this problem. And it's not just a problem here across Central Asia, but it is a problem globally.
Across the system. No, it's a very interesting thing that while the terminal will continue to expand, the challenge for a lot of the shipping that happens from the middle corridor, as we call it, there are many countries who are fairly disconnected digitally, not just for shipping purposes, but the exchange of goods between countries. That means one country is handing goods over to the other country, the paperwork that sits, there is somebody sitting to put a stamp on a paper, and that continues staying the challenge for a lot of countries who don't understand that this is good business to make sure that you're a good corridor, people are going through, jobs are created. But if everybody understood that, we would be a far more smoother world. The challenge continues to exist about when will we understand that these corridors create jobs, the corridors add to the per capita of the country, and the corridors make sure that we have viable economies. And until then, we will have to continue facing. Thank you very much, Ian, for that lovely interview.
Thank you very much.